The story of the afternoon is wind affecting all four corners of the Treasure State. Take a look at this video on top of the Billings rims. The gusts were making it tough to hold the camera steady while the dust and tumbleweeds were flying around. A dust cloud was also developing on the west side of town, creating a haze that could be seen from the rims. Now, the high winds are whipping up a lot of dust, but we're also seeing reports of power lines down and highways across the state even feeling the wind gusts and even shutting down because of accidents. In Great Falls, a red flag warning in effect until later tonight. And Caitlin Boysell has more on what exactly that means.
Currently in a red flag warning. Here's some things that you should know about. Emergency services sounding through the air and dust storms taking over the streets, plus wind gusts well above 70 miles per hour. This puts us at a red flag warning up in Great Falls. Fire Rescue Battalion Chief B.J. Perry wants you to use caution during this time.
Want to be really careful and understand that fire potential is very high when we get these type of winds and we get these types of dry fuels. I mean, typically when there is red flag warning, there'll be a burning ban, so you can't be burning in your burn barrels out in the county. And we have actually, we can't burn in the city limits.
If you do see some things, make sure to call for help.
As far as when they're out and about, if people are seeing somebody out driving around in tall grass, they might want to let somebody know. If they see somebody burning.
Some other things, make sure to limit your sparks, properly dispose of cigarettes, and avoid any unnecessary burnings.
During the red flag warnings, it's just more exponential.
And always,
be cautious about what you're doing.
Reporting in Great Falls, Caitlin Boysell, MTN News.
And turning now to weather with Rob Griggs. Boy, oh boy, talk about high winds. Poor Caitlin looked like she was going to blow over out there. It's intense.
Yeah, you have to wear your heavy shoes. I actually talked to a friend out, an immigrant, who said in all the 40-some years he's lived there, it's never been that windy before. Now, I don't know if that's accurate or not, but pretty darn close. The winds across the region right now, Zoe, are just, well, they're just amazing. Plumb scary, actually. 64-mile-an-hour gusts in places like Great Falls and Livingston. Even in Billings right now, those winds are howling along at 35 miles an hour. We've reached up to 40-mile-an-hour gusts unofficially earlier today. Thought I'd give you a quick little picture of what's been happening across the region. Wilsall, just about 17 miles northeast, had an 82-mile-an-hour gust. Big Timber, a 79-mile-an-hour gust. Livingston, a 78-mile-an-hour gust. And so far, none of these wind gusts appear to be records for the day or for the month. But in north central Montana, places like Great Falls and up around Glacier, they've had wind gusts that have topped daytime records, some of them month records. But so far, I'm not aware of any all-time records. And we're talking some places had 106-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So it's a windy one, but things will be changing rapidly. We'll give you the forecast in just a bit, Zoe.
Well, all right, Rob, thank you. Proceedings in the U.S. Senate trial for the removal of President Trump have wrapped up for the week. Now, last night, senators voted 51-49 to block witnesses from testifying. Democrat Senator from Montana, John Tester, thinks the system failed the American people by not allowing witnesses.
The fact is the system failed. And it didn't fail because the Constitution was bad. It failed because the people who were enforcing the checks and balances forgot to read the Constitution. And I'm going to tell you, I've listened for the last 10 days to the House managers put the prosecution forward. I've listened to the defense by the Trump lawyers. And I'm going to tell you, this is an open and shut case unless we can get some people from the White House like Mulvaney and Pompeo and others that will come in and say, under oath, this absolutely didn't happen. If they're willing to do that, and it isn't perjuring themselves, then I think it makes an entirely different trial out of it.
Busy political week on tap coming up. The president is expected to speak at the Super Bowl, the Iowa caucus, and State of the Union address. Well, fresh produce in Billings, you bet. One Montana company started selling fruits and vegetables right after Thanksgiving. Q2's David J. has more on how the farmers market type sales are going and the owner's plan.
It's going to come to life here real soon.
Casey Anderson and Chris Stinson get ready for a Saturday farmers market.
There they are. What's up, guys?
Really, it's just the freshness. We're getting it in. A lot of this stuff came in either last night or this morning.
Casey and I grew up here. Everybody loves to cook and everybody wants fresh and they want local.
Customers packed the produce depot and everything sold quickly.
Today was a good day. We ordered about double and we were out in about 45 minutes an hour again, which is amazing. Tons of support from the community.
It's difficult to maneuver through there when we're restocking. Lots of people, getting in their stuff, getting what they need. There's some some products that go quicker than others. It's crazy, it's fun, it's exciting. You really never see anybody without a smile on their face.
And just having that interaction with folks where they can come in, and it's a little bit like combat shopping. It's kind of funny, really, but I think people enjoy it. So, yeah, we'll try to keep it going.
The Produce Depot store is in a building on 2nd Avenue North and North 29th Street. And Anderson and Stinson are looking at the possibility of a co-op in another part of the building.
We would like to have a retail spot where you can where it's more convenient to get local products.
And that's kind of what we're looking for on the corner, hoping on opening a co-op down here.
Getting that stuff out is kind of a goal of ours, so everybody can have an option.
It's kind of a fun experience. It's kind of like Christmas when you get home, you dump your bag out and you have all this fresh food.
It's a blast. Nothing but positive vibes that we're getting from a lot of people around here constantly, so being able to do this is awesome.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Fresh and fantastic. Thank you, David. Now, the Produce Depot owners say if the co-op has support, it could happen in the next couple of months, so stay tuned. Well, yesterday, one of our MTNers took a trip up to Showdown, Montana, where 4th graders at Lincoln Elementary School were taking part in their annual ski day. Each year, all 15 elementary schools in the Great Falls area send their 4th graders about 70 miles south for a day of physical education in the snow.
Today's a day that we've been anticipating for a long time.
When you live in Montana, your PE time might look a little different.
For some of our kids, this might be the only opportunity they get to be able to do skiing, and so connecting that to PE has been really valuable.
Between January and March every year, 4th graders from Great Falls Public Schools hit the slopes at Showdown, Montana.
All 15 elementaries bring their 4th grade students up and are able to take part. As soon as they get to school, we board a bus and we make it back right before school's out.
Proving once again that skiing is for people of all ages.
I think this is a fantastic lifelong sport that kids can learn how to do, and if they can learn how to do it young, they might be able to do that the rest of their lives. I skied this last week at another resort where we skied with people that were in their 70s and 80-year-olds, and so it's just one of those sports that you can ski the rest of your life.
And most importantly, students get to experience Montana's great outdoors.
We actually have kids in our school and probably across the district too that they don't get out of Great Falls very often, more or less coming to a ski hill.
In Nyhart, Matt Holzaffel, MTN News.
Some lucky 4th graders. Now, Conan says that they face issues with weather and deciding the best time of year to make the trip, but so far this year they haven't had to cancel a single trip. Stay with us, more to come on the 5:30 news. Get your snacks ready. Tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday. After the break, we dive into some people's favorite part of the Super Bowl, the commercials. And later in sports, the Cats and Grizz renew the rivalry on the court. Highlights from the doubleheader opener on the way.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker weather with Rob Griggs, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.